Hello, viewers. Welcome to the Lungleng show. Today is a special day again because I have a special guest, and she is Miss Chanchui Khayi from Manipur. And she'll be representing the state of Manipur in the upcoming Femina Miss India 2024. And I want to get to know more about her, her lifestyle, her thoughts, and the values that she holds in life. And I'm excited that she comes forward. And she's just 23 years old. I mean, there are many things to talk about her because she's just still very young, and I'm kind of very eager to know more about her. At such a young age, how come how she comes this far, and being representing the state of Manipur in the prestigious beauty pageant in India, which is Femina Miss India. So thank you so much, Chanchui Khayi, for joining me in this conversation, and I'm glad that you are here again, and willing to speak to us about your life, about your thoughts, and your journey so far, and the experience so far in this beauty pageant process. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you, Lungleng, Amay, for having me here. I'm so excited to have a conversation with you. Yeah.
Great, sounds good. So as we talk about your, off screen, as we talked a little bit about your experience, as I remember, one of your fellow contestants who is from Nagaland and who came to our show just last week had already left Nagaland to go down to Mumbai, and still you are there in Ukhrul, Manipur. And I'm just wondering, like, why is there such a different timing, or what's still keeping you there?
Thank you. Well, I think mostly it's because of the very fact that the current situation in Manipur has been difficult. From trying to get my activities done here, all the requirements that have to be kind of conveyed back to the organization. It hasn't been possible because, the state hasn't been able to function as it should in many little things. And because of that, I had to go back to Ukhrul and kind of continue my journey there. And back there, I've been doing as much as I can, from mountain climbing up to Shuri Peak, to going to a lot of villages. I went to the Kangkui caves, or to Joyter, like that. So traveling villages to villages, traveling districts across to make sure that I do my best along the journey, and that's kind of keeping me here for now.
Great. I'm sure you'll be able to cope up very well later on. And when do you plan to go to Mumbai after this now?
Well, I'm planning for the 26th of this month, so it's in a few days.
Okay, wonderful. I mean, I'm sure you must be very much looking forward to that, because you have been working on this, and it must be also very tiring, at the same time meaningful experience, isn't it?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Great. So as I learned about you, you are just 23 years old, and you have come this far. It shows a lot about your personality and your confidence. I mean, as a 23-year-old boy, I mean, I could not imagine being able to stand up like this in front of people and contesting for such a prestigious pageant. I'm not contesting, but that the level of confidence that you have. I'm just wondering, like, what are you currently doing at this moment other than, participating in the beauty pageant process?
Well, I have just finished my master's in performing arts, since I love the arts, from music to dance to acting, and anything that keeps me up on my feet and to perform. So having that passion inside of me, I've always kind of been so drawn to the arts. So yeah, I have just finished my postgraduate in that. So that's where I'm keeping myself busy for now.
Okay. That I'm happy to know that. So where did you grow up, or where did you spend your childhood? As a little child, and where did you do your primary school and high school and so on?
Well, I was born in Manipur, Lamphel, and for the early part of childhood, I would say I did my kindergarten, LKG, UKG in Ukhrul, in Alice School, where my mom was the vice principal. And then later on, I moved down to Imphal. Then I studied there quite a bit in Tiny Tots Unique School. And then I moved again to Guwahati because my mom got transferred. So there I studied in St. Paul's, and then I went to Little Flower School, then I went to St. DeSale School. So I changed a lot of schools over the course of my education, which has, I think, really broadened my perspective on many things.
Okay, okay, that's interesting. And when you look at your life, I mean, as a person, you are ethnically, a Naga from Manipur, a tribal from Manipur, and I mean, the interesting fact here is that this time, for the first time in the history of, I mean, beauty pageant, I think from Manipur as well as from Nagaland is going to be represented by a Naga women. I mean Naga girls like you and that your fellow contestant from Nagaland. So as a Naga girl, how does it feel to be representing the state of Manipur at this moment? And as a tribal girl, how are you feeling at this moment?
I think it is a wonderful moment because it's not just for me, it's for the entire community that I belong to. And chances like this are rare. And I'm planning to make the most use of it in terms of my duty as a girl from from the Naga community, and make sure that my stand there when I go there in Mumbai, when I meet all the contestants and my fellow contestant from Nagaland, to be able to spend the most unique experiences, and of course make my community proud, in showing where we come from as from our ancestors, or who we are as from what's written back in our history. So yes, I want to be able to do that, and I hope that at the end of the day, my people will be proud of me.
And I mean, when I look at your background, you have already achieved a lot of beauty pageants in the past, which I'm not able to name them right now because I'm very bad at, naming all this. But the one that I remember is you won the crown for the Miss Shiroi Lily. I think it was in the year 2023 or 22.
It was in 2019.
2019, I'm sorry for that. I thought it was just a few years ago.
Yes, it was 2019. I was 18 years old, I think, then.
Okay, okay. It's great. It's great to know. So far from that experience, and it was like a state festival, and you won the title, Miss Shiroi Lily. I mean, Miss Lily, or whatever that names, because it was a celebration, a festival celebrated by the state government. So from that on, how would you like to rate yourself, or how would you like to describe yourself, or your journey as has been? Like, how has your journey been since then and until today?
I think it has taught me a lot because the first experiences, it was so fresh. But now I have come to sort of adapt to it and kind of predict where I can go. And one thing that I've realized that has really propelled me in my journey, where in the field of pageantry, where I can kind of really focus on the more delicate parts that are very actually essential when you are out there to perform in a pageantry platform. So yes, it has really helped me a lot. I think those were the days where everything was very significant, and back then I didn't realize it, but now that I'm here, I'm very grateful for those days.
Wow, I mean, you have come very far since then, don't you? So, yes. So, how is your preparation overall going on for this contest? I mean, like, since you're very busy traveling up and down, from our brief conversation, you mentioned a lot about your travel to Manipur, from Ukhrul to Manipur, Ukhrul to Imphal, and Imphal to Ukhrul, on such a bad road condition at this moment in this rainy season. I mean, how has your preparation been so far? I mean, in brief.
The preparation has been quite hectic. Getting less sleep is the most difficult part. But I think the better part of it is because of the people who have been around me to support me, especially my team from my community. So they have really, really been the biggest part of my journey. Without them, I don't think I would have been able to do a lot of the things that I'm doing right now, even currently. And I'm so grateful to them because starting from transportation to going to different locations, they have really guided me and led me more than I should have. So I'm so grateful to them. And to my team members from Mahai to Mazan, Okchur, and all of my sister, all of them, I'm so grateful to them. And yeah, I hope that they will be blessed in their own journey as well. I'm so grateful to them. Yeah.
I'm happy to know that you have a great team, and you have you have people around you who are very supportive of you. I mean, that must be such a very enriching experience to have people around you, and
Yes.
happy to know that. So you have
Yes,
been,
I mean, like
yeah.
they have been there. Something that I had not experienced before. All of my pageant journey so far, it has been always me trying alone, but this time has been quite significant because when I reached out, they were so willing to help. And I'm so grateful. There are six of us, so starting from photography, Soranzan, and all together we are six of us, and they're the most wonderful group of people.
Oh, I can imagine. I can imagine. You got to treasure them. You know, they're such a wonderful people to be supportive of, to be really supporting you on this journey. Um, yeah, I mean, the kudos to your friends and kudos to your team for such a support that they have been giving you. And as I learned about you, I think you were also born. I mean, you were born in Manipur, but also you spent a lot of your time as a little girl in Guwahati. I mean, from our brief conversation, I mean, can you tell me a little bit more about your experience and why you were there and what took you there from Manipur to Guwahati, and how is your Guwahati experience so far?
Well, it began because right after my dad passed away, my mom had to take over the reins. So she started working in Guwahati. She got transferred, and shortly 1 year later, I followed her along. That's where I moved away to Guwahati. And there, I would say, moving from Manipur to there, it was quite interesting in the sense that it was a very different community compared to back home because I wasn't used to the language, first of all.
Yeah.
And I was quite a shy kid, which was really difficult for me to kind of make myself feel that I could fit in. So in terms of that, I think Guwahati really helped me because I met the right friends who gave me in the right kind of confidence, who tilted me in the right way to pursue the things that I felt was gifted in me in some way. And from not just in terms of education and friends, but in even the community there, the Tangkhul community over there, they're so very supportive from the families. Well, I have my mother as my own parent, but all the uncles and aunties there, they have been so supportive of me throughout my journey. And I'm so grateful to them, not just in words, but in actions. I have truly seen them kind of encouraging me in every single way. And I have not seen that happening in a lot of places, but I would say I'm quite fortunate in that sense.
Happy to know that, but I'm sorry to learn that your dad passed away when you were young, when you were small. I honestly didn't know that before. So um, from that experience, I think how did you manage as a little girl to grow up without a father? I mean, it must have been very difficult, and how that really shaped your thoughts and shaped your confidence and shaped your values. How did you manage to grow up as a child of a single parent?
I think my mom's faith made it a lot easier. When my dad passed away, I was around 6 years old.
Wow.
And back then, I have to be honest that I don't quite remember much, which can be sad, yet at the same time, it took away a pain that I could have experienced a lot early in life and something that would have really scarred me. But I'm also, I believe that everything happens for a reason, and I'm grateful to a lot of things in which God has kind of guided me along the way in my journey. I think at the end of the day, I have to accept what has happened over my life. And one thing that I can take away is that the strength of a mother and the faith that can really bless their children. One thing that I always follow is to be obedient to my mother. I've always been mommy's little girl.
Okay, I can.
So in that sense, I always take her advices and follow along her footsteps in the way that she has carried herself, her principles, and the many worship time lectures that she has given me. All of those little things have really made me the person that I am today, and I'm so grateful for it. And not just her, but growing up, what has been different is the womanhood that I have, the womanhood community that I have received, starting from not just my mom, but my aunt, my grandmother, and my mom's friends, who have been just a constant guiding support for her, support system, which at the end, that support kind of also reached towards in my life. So because of those things, I am where I am today, and I'm very grateful for that.
Truly appreciate the fact that you divert that energy and you divert that circumstance to shape yourself and to take up more challenges in life and to put your trust more in God. So in short, how does your faith play a role in your life, a role in becoming who you are today? How does faith play that role in your life?
I think for me, whenever I feel like things are not going right, I trust him. I trust a lot that he will overcome every challenge, and that has worked out for me tremendously. And I'm shocked sometimes, even at moments when I feel like I should not be asking for certain things in prayer, he has blessed me over and above. And I'm so, that kind of love and grace that we receive from Lord is something I want others to feel and receive as well. For me personally, I think I experienced the love of God very early on, at 5. I remember it very distinctly. Ever since then, my faith has not shaken even once. And I know that wherever I am at, whether it is in terms of career or the relationships that I make, the connections, the friendships, it will all make way when he's with me. So that standing kind of foundational faith has really helped me in my confidence that wherever I stand, I will be fine. So I would say it's the God confidence, as we say.
Thanks for sharing that experience as a little girl and as now a grown-up woman. Your experience must have not been really easy, as I can imagine. So I really appreciate the courage and the passion and the kind of endurance that you have and your faith that you are putting in God. So keep up the good work, and I'm sure God will lead you through. God will lead you wherever you go, and whatever you take up, I'm sure He will be there. That's the importance and significance of our faith. And now coming back to you as a woman now who has grown up and who is now 23 years old. When it comes to women empowerment, in our state or in a state or in our Naga society, we can see that the idea of women empowerment is quite debated. People will say our women are so empowered, or some will say it's a very highly patriarchal society. How would you like to assess the level of empowerment among our women in our society?
I think that in a community like ours, there are levels of empowerment, I think. There are those who are very much, and I think empowerment also comes with education. That is one very integral section. But aside from that, it is also about community building as a society, as a community. We are often not very, in terms of communication, I would say, we do not communicate much as we should about whether it's about our as a support system. So to be able to do that, I think we need to be more vulnerable with each other as women, and kind of not sideline yourself from the rest of the people. Because when you communicate, you create a safe space for each other. And when you do that, when you do create a safe space for each other, it really helps you to kind of encourage one another more genuinely, and that is something we might lack as a community. That is something we have to work on consciously, and I think little small efforts will take into place. That is something we have to work on, especially that is I am hoping to see from the youths, that they would take more healthier steps, not just within their friendships, but to their mothers or sisters, within within the families, or in classrooms, in schools, in every aspect. So little things actually add up to the entirety of women empowerment. It's what we say, like trifles make perfection. So it's the little things that kind of overall builds up all together. Yeah.
Wow, that's a very powerful thought. I mean, you really hit the jackpot in that sense. Women empowerment, education plus communication. Education alone does not really lead us to that. There are a lot of people, educated people, but sometimes it turns to a negative vibe in many cases. But I think as long as we, like you say, are vulnerable to each other and having that communication of what you think and what I think, and having that continuous communication among each other, I think, our differences start to narrow down, and the differences become narrowed down, and that's how we can strengthen and build relationship. I mean, that's a wonderful thought. I really appreciate such powerful thoughts that you have just shared. And now, as a youth, what are some of the concerns that you have for the youth? When you look around, let's say you're as representing the state of Manipur in this upcoming pageant, how would you like to describe, or how would you like, what is your assessment on today's youth, especially from the state of Manipur, and what would be your thought? What are your concerns that you have around the life of youth?
I think the biggest concern I have right now is that Manipur it has so many tribes, so many communities in here, and I feel like, having faced the situation that we have over the past year up till now, there is a sense of indifference towards each other, which is very sad to see. The morale of our community has really been beaten down to the floor, and that is something that we really need to re-invite and rebuild. That will take steps, not just on a personal level. It has to be pushed, I think. Sometimes what happens is you wait for the right things to happen. We say time will tell, time will heal. But I feel at times, especially in a state where we are currently very frozen in our hearts, in our minds, and what we see towards the future, as youth as well, ranging from our dreams that we have or the values that we hold. In all aspects, I feel that we are really broken down. So one thing that I really hope from each youth in our society would be to push through. Even if you find it hard in yourself, to be kind to one another, or just show a simple gesture of acceptance or acknowledgement to one another, do it. Because one very sad story that I heard recently is that even in schools, there's a sense of discrimination that has started. And I just felt like, what about the children that are victims to the situation? They do not have to be a source of such negativity in a school environment. And seeing that, I feel we have to rebuild those values one step at a time. We must push through. We must tell ourselves that we cannot live in the past. We have to move forward. We can only look back, understanding what has happened, but we have to look forward, hoping that we kind of accept new ideas to make sure that same things do not happen again. And we kind of really tell ourselves that we must change, we must be better.
Wonderful, wonderful. So from your life, from your experience, did you come across any time where you were thrown at some sort of a very negative gesture by people around you, either on social media or people around you physically. And did you have such kind of circumstance and where you had to deal with it?
Yes, of course, I did. Early on, I should say.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to safety for women, especially, that now I would be taking on a personal road. But yes, I have, and it wasn't the most comfortable situation when it happened. But there were moments where I got bullied. There were moments where I got harassed. But one thing that I've learned is I cannot stand there blaming them or blaming myself or victimizing myself more than I should have. And just move forward. That's one thing I just keep telling myself. The more I stay in the past, the lesser I grow. The more I move forward, the more I learn. So
Totally.
that's something I keep telling myself, and it has really helped me. Yeah.
Wonderful. I mean, so and you know, we can say that nowadays bullies either online or either in person. I mean, bullies are real. I mean, people go through a lot, and as you have correctly mentioned, you know, sometimes you got to deal with it and move on. You know, I mean, and it's a challenging age that we're also living in, either online or, you know, in person. Everyone has got to experience that, you know, in one way or the other. It's just that people don't speak out, so we don't know how many people are going through, and these are real. I mean, for many people as well, and that can lead to our mental health deterioration as well. I mean, what's your comment on that?
I think that these things are sadly a part of society, but something we have to change. For those people who have experienced things as similarly as me, you have to know that those situations do not define your path forward. So just I cannot tell you to just, heal yourself, you'll be fine, forget about it. You have to take time for yourself. And that can be 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, but never give up on what the value that you hold for yourself, whether it's your self-worth that you hold, because you are all special, and don't forget that. Yeah.
Totally. That makes sense, and thanks for that. I mean, it's just a personal question, you know. Had your father, had your dad been alive today and be with you, would you be a different person, or, you know, do you sometimes imagine, and how would you be feeling at this moment, having your father by your side? It's just a very personal question.
Very sweet. I think I do think about it very fondly, very often, kind of imagining the situation.
Yeah.
Well, if he were still alive, I would say I would not be the me that I am right now, but quite somewhere similar, because one thing that I know about my father, that he was a very good man who really valued family and sibling bond. There's a story where my uncle told me once that my dad told him that if there's one thing we have to remember is the love we have for each other as siblings. Never let go of that. And he was the eldest. My father was the eldest among all the siblings, and he had a huge responsibility over his head. And I'm sure in the journey of that, he faced a lot of difficulties, which I might have known being a 5-year-old kid. But seeing from where I am right now, I hold much respect for him, of the love he had for his siblings, and because of which my uncles and my aunts have been so kind, so loving to me in everything that I do. And I truly see that love being sent towards me even after this many years.
Wonderful. And As a woman, as a woman, you seem to be very deeply connected to your roots. I mean, and to your family and to your roots. How important do you think is it for you to be, or for anyone to be, deeply connected to their own roots? How important is it?
It is the foundation of your life, I think. It is the fabric of where you lead your life in terms of quality living. Because without your roots, you're nobody. Where you stand from, it's not just you came upon this world and like any other day. You are the offspring of a generation of stories that have been written down in folk tales, folklores, in songs, in myths, and all this compilation of or collection of stories that we have learned over the generations that we have lived truly shows where you stand in a civilized life that we live. So, well, your identity is where it will take you to places. And being an art student myself, I have practiced my roots in the play productions that I have done, in the directing that I've done, and I've seen how much effect it has had. Those me going back to my roots, how much love I have received because of that. It's beautiful, I would say, and it even makes your connections with people even more interesting. That's one thing that I have experienced, and it's wonderful. Yeah.
That's powerful. That's powerful. And totally agree with you. I mean, the knowing and being aware of our roots is what defines us. And I mean, that's our roots. And wherever you go, that defines us. That's a beautiful thoughts that you have shared. And, apart from your family and apart from your team and friends, do you think the people of Manipur are supporting you enough in this journey?
I do think so, because despite everything, I have received much love online and even in real life, and that gives me so much hope, so much warmth in my heart that I will be okay in my journey ahead. I have people behind me looking out for me, and that's the one thing you need when you represent your people, the love and support that you receive. That gives you a stronghold on, yes, I have people behind my back. I have nothing to worry about. Yeah.
Chanchui, I got a feeling that your representation or your participation in the upcoming Femina Miss India is going to be very, very crucial. Not because of anything, but because of the fact that Manipur is a conflict-torn state. And it's been like this for more than almost 1.5 years now. So it's going to be very crucial in whatever you're going to present and whatever you're going to speak or represent as someone from the state of Manipur is going to be very, very important. I think there will be thousands of eyes looking up to you to listen to you, what you're going to say on that very day. So how are you assessing that as a contestant?
Well, wearing the sash Manipur, representing the many different communities that are there, if there's one thing that I will bring forth is the stories that have been heard, not just within the state, across the nation, across the world. It is sad, and even though it is sad, my stand there should be a symbol of hope. That despite all that we have gone through as a society, and although the fabric of that has been torn apart bit by bit, month by month, it does not end there. There is always a way for us to come out of it. We must believe to be better and practice to be better. That is one thing I will carry with me, and I hope that through me, those stories will be presented, will be heard, and they will not remain frozen as it is now.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So in this situation of Manipur being ethnically and geographically and in every sense at the height of this division in Manipur, what would be your message to the people of Manipur from both sides, to all sides of people? What will be the one that message that you want to give to the people of Manipur?
I think it would be to lay down your heart in a little kinder way, in a more compassionate way. In times of difficulty, that is the one thing that will truly heal you. If you hold on too much to a negative part of your life, you will see yourself pulling yourself down to the pit. And once you go too low, it is hard for you to reach the top. So before you reach that low, make sure that you are high enough to be able to grab onto those little muddy areas and pull yourself out. And along the way, pull others out.
Beautiful message. I mean, the most important part that you mentioned, I mean, to me is the hurt that people have. I mean, the hurt needs to get healed and, get out of it and extend your hand, extend your love towards each other. I think that's the only way forward. Otherwise, there's no other way forward, I believe. So thanks for that message. And to you personally, why this kind of pageant, beauty pageant, is very important, what is it that you have a lot of interest in beauty pageant like the Femina Miss India? So why interested in this?
Well, for me, it has been very funny in the sense that I never thought I would be a pageant girl because I was a lot more on performing stage. But one thing that I noticed after I joined pageantry was the amount of impact it could have on people. With just one cause, with just one purpose, you can change the life of somebody else. And what a gift it can be for them. So having seen that grow in the Beauty with a Purpose projects that Femina Miss India organization has initiated, to the Miss World organization that has changed the life of so many people all across the world, it is truly so inspiring, and it is something that I want to bring back to my home as well, that change is possible. And even in a beauty pageant platform, you can make so many instrumental changes in the lives of, from the young to the old, to the women, to the men. I mean, all aspects. And what a great gift it can be. So I would love to be part of that journey and that cause. And that is why, yes, Femina Miss India.
Great, great. And what would be the initiative that you will be taking on? If you, I mean, you must be doing that because you have been winning, quite a few beauty pageants in the past as well. So, what is that issue or concerns, or let's say the cost that you have been taking on in your experience in the past, and what is it that you would like to continue doing that if you ever come back with a crown or winning some of the titles?
One thing that I've really noticed about myself is all my life I have been very much connected with children. Even when I was a child, I had a heart for other friend groups as mine, and to kind of help children just like me. Yet I saw so much disparity in the quality of life that we lived, the differences that we had, and that kind of made me question, why does it have to be like that? What I can have, why can't she not have? So seeing that, and very most recently, what has happened to my own state, the amount of lives that have been lost, the wasted human potential that we have lost over this year has really broken my heart. And because of the very reason, I want to help remember their dreams or their purpose or the careers that they want to pursue, and to help reignite that, because that is something they have lost. So I would work for a cause that can truly change that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that's such a worthy cause, I would say, and we need this more than ever. after the
Yes.
outbreak of the war or conflict in in Manipur state, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, I wish we could have a longer conversation, but this is just the beginning. So, I'm sure you will perform very well, and I personally would like to wish you all the very best to your in this contest for you. And we would love to see you coming back with a crown or with a great result. So, wishing you all the very best in this journey and in the contest.
Thank you so much, Amir Ransom. I mean, for the well wishes, and do kindly pray for me as well.
Not just me alone, but I think our viewers and audience will all pray for you, I'm sure, and you'll come back with the
Yes.
best
It's
result we
one where
could
you
ever
need a
hope
lot
for.
of strength.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So, do you have any last message for our viewers?
Message for the viewers would be, keep your heads up high and keep going where you're doing, whatever you're doing. Never feel dejected, because what you're facing right now is only momentary. But focus on the future, and tell yourself, whenever you feel down, would your future self be proud of the present you? So I hope that's something that you can take with you, and remember that.
Wonderful.
Never, ever say no to yourself. Only yeses.
That's wonderful, Chanchui. And coming back with the winning results, I think we can have a longer conversation if required. So thank you so much from this on. I wish you and your team all the best, and stay healthy and stay prepared all the time. So thank you so much for this time, and looking forward to seeing you standing on the stage in the contest.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this time. I really enjoyed it.
Wonderful. We'll talk again, Chanchui.
Yes.
Yeah.